Well, I threw myself into the civil rights movement and into the student movements of my generation, the anti-war movement. We could put about 10,000 people in the street in about 2 hours' time in those days. We deployed in Michigan like an army all over the state. Shut down the university in 1968 with the big after Kent State shootings and invasion of Cambodia. But I was always trying to figure out a foundation for my life. I knew I wanted uh, to be about social change, but what's the foundation for that? So I left the church, or basically they kicked me out, but but I never quite got shed of Jesus. So when I was a senior, I began to read again the Gospels to give it one last chance. I was reading Karl Marx and Ho Chi Minh, Che Guevara, all the revolutionaries. But then I began to read Jesus' Sermon on the Mount that really turned everything upside down. You know, blessed are the poor and the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who hunger for justice, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. This was a radical reversal of the logic of the world, and it proposed to change everything, starting with me. And then I kept reading in the book of Matthew, and Matthew 25, the 25th chapter, was my conversion passage. There's a famous one where it says, Jesus says, I was hungry, I was thirsty, I was naked, I was sick, I was a stranger, I was in prison, and you never came to see me. You weren't there for me. And they all say, Lord, when do we see you? Hungry and thirsty and naked and sick and in prison. Had we just known it was you, we would have done something. We would have formed a social action committee or something. But he says, as you've done it to the least of these, you've done it to me. And I was blown away by that. This was more revolutionary, more radical than any of the revolutionaries I was reading. And here was this, and in the text, the Son of God saying, I'll judge you by how you treat those who are often left out and left behind. This was amazing to me. And so I thought it was simply more radical, more transforming than anything I'd ever heard or seen. And so I signed up to be a follower of this Jesus, not to be in the church, I wasn't ready for that, but to follow Jesus. And I went to seminary, and that's where I met a bunch of other people. And that's when we started Sojourners a long time ago.